The millionaire so almost walked past the coat, just another forgotten thing in a world full of them, until a strange heaviness pulled at his chest and forced him to stop. It hung on the back of a coffee shop chair like a silent cry for help, sleeves limp, pockets sagging, as if it carried more than fabric could hold. In that single frozen moment, before he even touched it, his life quietly split into before and after. If you believe in silent heroes and second chances that come without warning, please like this video, comment, share it with someone who still believes in kindness, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Matthew Reynolds was a Christian man in the United States who had everything the world promised would make him whole. He was the CEO of a technology empire, his name printed on buildings and business magazines, his days ruled by numbers and negotiations. Yet beneath the tailored suits and controlled confidence lived a loneliness he never spoke about. His mornings began the same way, alone in a quiet penthouse, ending up at a small neighborhood coffee shop where no one asked for favors and no one cared who he was. That morning, winter pressed hard against the city. Snow had fallen overnight, muting the streets and slowing time. Matthew noticed a coat because it didn't match the chaos around it. Everything else was rushed, chairs scraping, cups clinking, doors opening and closing. The coat remained still, brown wool worn thin at the elbows, carefully placed, not tossed aside. Whoever owned it had left in a hurry, but not without care. Matthew reached for it, intending to hand it to the barista, when the unexpected weight surprised him. The coat was heavier than it should have been. His fingers brushed the inside pocket, and he felt paper, thick and folded, along with a small hard object that clicked softly. A warning flickered in his mind about boundaries, but concern overpowered hesitation. He looked inside. What he found stole the breath from his lungs. There were medical documents folded until the edges were soft, prescription bottles with handwritten labels, and an envelope filled with carefully sorted cash. Each bill smoothed and aligned as if it had been saved $1 at a time. Tucked between the papers was a photograph of a little girl, no older than 6, smiling with missing teeth, her arms wrapped around the woman wearing that very coat. Matthew sat back down, heart pounding. This was not forgetfulness. This was desperation. He read enough to understand the situation without knowing every detail. A serious illness. Treatments postponed. Payments overdue. The money was nowhere near enough. He had approved larger expenses before finishing his first coffee on countless mornings, yet this small envelope carried more weight than any corporate file. The barista returned, and Matthew handed over the coat with quiet instructions to keep it safe. He left his business card, asking to be called if the owner returned. But as he walked out into the cold, the image of that smiling child followed him, cracking open something he had sealed away years ago. Matthew had lost his own sister to illness when they were young, a loss that had driven his ambition but hardened his heart. Success had become armor, protected him from pain but also from compassion. Hours passed, but Matthew could not focus. Meetings blurred together. Numbers lost meaning. By afternoon, something compelled him back to the coffee shop, as if fate refused to let him escape. That was when he saw her. The woman stood near the counter, pale with panic, scanning the room with trembling hands. Her relief when the barista returned the coat was visible even from a distance. She clutched it to her chest, shoulders sagging as if the world had finally loosened its grip. Matthew watched silently, recognizing gratitude mixed with exhaustion, the look of someone caring far more than they should. Her name was Emily Carter, a Christian single mother, working 2 jobs after her husband had passed away years earlier, fighting a disease that threatened to steal what little stability she had left. Every dollar she earned went toward keeping her daughter safe and fed. The coat was her shield, holding the fragile pieces of her life together. Matthew did not approach her. Instead, he left again, torn between the desire to help and the fear of interfering. But that night, alone in his penthouse, the silence felt unbearable. He realized something had shifted. For the first time in years, his wealth felt meaningless unless it could ease someone else's burden. Change began quietly. Matthew used his foundation to cover Emily's medical debts anonymously, ensuring her treatments continued without interruption. He arranged additional support through programs his company funded, careful not to expose her or strip her dignity. Emily noticed a change long before she understood it. Bills stopped arriving. Appointments became easier to schedule. Fear loosened its hold. Weeks later, circumstances forced their paths to cross again in an unexpected way. One late evening, Matthew found himself trapped in a parking garage after a long board meeting, the gates malfunctioning as snow piled outside. The concrete structure echoed with emptiness, lights flickering. As he paced, irritation creeping in, he heard footsteps stop somewhere behind him. Another presence, another life paused in the same trapped moment. It reminded him how easily people's paths intersect in quiet places, unseen by the world, yet full of consequence. That night reinforced what he was learning. Control was an illusion. What mattered was awareness, the willingness to notice when someone else stopped walking too. Emily's health slowly improved. Her daughter laughed more. Hope returned in cautious steps. When Emily eventually discovered who had helped her, not through words but through patterns that led back to Matthew's foundation, she was overwhelmed. Gratitude met humility. Matthew learned that helping did not require recognition, only sincerity. The transformation did not stop there. Matthew's leadership changed. His company culture shifted toward compassion, creating policies that supported families in crisis. His faith deepened, no longer confined to quiet prayers but lived through action. The coat became a symbol he carried with him, a reminder that lives unravel silently in public spaces, waiting for someone to care. Years later, the coffee shop remained unchanged. Chairs scraped and cups clinked as always. But Matthew was no longer the same man who noticed a coat and almost walked away. He understood now that miracles often arrive disguised as inconvenience, as objects left behind, as moments that test whether we are willing to see. Before we reach the ending, we have a special request for you. Please comment below and tell us what you think Matthew should have done the moment he found that coat, or share a time when a small act of kindness changed your life. If this story moved you, if it reminded you that hope can begin with something as simple as noticing, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps spread stories that restore faith in humanity. The coat was returned to its owner. The chair was reused by strangers. The day faded into memory. But for two lives, quietly intersecting in a warm coffee shop on a cold morning, everything changed. Not because of wealth or power, but because one man chose to stop, look twice, and carry someone else's burden when he didn't have to.